First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
We begin with your first alert on the massive winter storm, not just here, but really impacting flights elsewhere as well. It is a 19 first alert weather day as we brace for one wild weather week once again. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Versansky. Brian Duffy is off today. So a winter weather advisory is in effect. 19 first alert meteorologist John Loftman is here with all of the developments. John.
Yeah, you know, I love Wild Weather Week, and we've had a few of those. I pulled up the First Alert Parma cam simply because there are no flurries flying, and that is good. The snow is winding down. What we get through the remainder of the night will amount to a trace to an inch. That's all. But the First Alert Weather Day continues through 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, simply because the winds continue to abate, but they'll be strong, and we will get more snow. So tonight, we're talking a trace to an inch of additional snow, winds that begin to become less blustery, and travel impacts are going to be around. So they're a result of the blowing snow. 24 at downtown, 23 at Hopkins. They're the sustained winds, not the wind gusts. 22 out of the northwest downtown and 15 at Hopkins. So still a pretty gusty kind of a scenario. Temperatures only in the low to mid to upper 20s across the region. We continue to have this snow, the wind chills making it feel as cold as 8 at Akron, 10 at Cleveland. So bundle up if you're headed out. And there is the snow, the classic stuff in the higher elevations east of Cleveland. There it is, right through there. And we'll be talking about a First Alert Future View hour by hour in the 7-day that carries us into March.
Thank you. And the severe weather is really turning travel into a massive headache, especially if you're heading to the East Coast. Thousands of flights have been canceled. Our Harry Boomer is at Hopkins Airport talking to travelers today. Harry, I saw you at noon. There were a lot of delays and cancellations. What's it like out there now?
Well, actually, Nicole, there are more airport personnel than there are air travelers right now over here at Hopkins. There's been an ebb and flow of people coming through Hopkins, heading to their respective destinations. But take a look at this. New York Kennedy, LaGuardia, we've got Newark and Philadelphia, and even Washington, D.C. delayed. Most of the people seem to have heard our warning not to come to the airport because of that major snowstorm along the East Coast. It only takes a few scans of the monitors to see traveling east is being hampered by a major nor'easter. Widespread cancellations and delays are bringing air traffic to a halt. Carrie Stoudemire from Cleveland is among those hoping to miss the bad weather.
I'm a Cleveland native. I'm headed to Houston, and so far, so good. Pleasantly surprised. I am not affected by the weather yet. Unless I get there and they say that my plane is delayed, but no delay so far.
According to CBS News, more than 40 million people are affected by the massive snowstorm that's slamming the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. Over 5,000 flights have been canceled from Maryland to Maine. Airports in Philadelphia, New York, Newark, Boston, and Reagan National have canceled flights. LaGuardia in New York seems to be hit the hardest, with 98% of its flights grounded. Amanda is also among the lucky people hoping to miss the weather mayhem.
I'm going to Orlando, and I'm trying to assume that it's not affecting me.
Optimistic, huh?
Just hopeful, yeah.
American, Delta, JetBlue, Spirit, and United have issued waivers for those needing to reschedule their flights. This man and his family are headed to a small town near Durham, North Carolina. You're going east, but not quite north enough to be affected by all this, right?
No, it should be nice down there. No snow.
Yeah, is that a direct flight? You have to go someplace?
No, I gotta go to Chicago first.
You might get hit by that.
Yeah, probably get delayed in Chicago, but I'm leaving. I got like a 3-hour layover, so I'm not worried about it.
As the massive snowstorms continue to hammer the east, the number of flight cancellations and delays also rise. Upwards of 10,000 are expected to hammer travelers through at least Tuesday at Hopkins International Airport, where the cancellations are still prevalent. I'm Harry Boomer, 19 News.
Harry, thanks for that update. And we have continuing coverage on this winter storm ahead. More from the areas across the country dealing with the snow, the cold, the blizzard conditions. As always, you can stay up to date on our conditions with the 19 First Alert weather app. A bad crash in Erie County. This is on State Route 2 in Huron Township. That's a semi. It hit a bridge and actually started to leak fuel. That forced the blockage of the eastbound lanes, and we checked just before we came here on air. One lane is open. However, one lane is still closed. A deadly fire overnight leaves one man dead, 3 firefighters hurt, and 10 people without a home. Now investigators are working to find out what started this fire, and we uncovered what could be a disturbing twist in this case. First at 4, Brittany Weir joining us live in Canton. Brittany, I know you spoke to neighbors who had to evacuate. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But what did those neighbors have to say?
Yes, they said last night was absolutely just terrifying. Herman and Ciel live in this home right here on the 2nd floor, which is right next door to where that fire started here on 5th Street Southwest. And you can see just how close those two homes actually are. The couple said that they smelled burning and smoke, so they looked out the window and all they saw were flames coming from their neighbor's house.
Just in one day, our car, our house, we've lost everything.
A couple visibly shaken up, reliving the frightening night before. Last night, Herman Sabigol Barrera and Cielo Ruby Preciado woke up to what smelled like burning wires.
He went up to the window to see, and he saw that the fire was on this house. Then the wind blew the fire, and it started to burn my house.
Herman called 911, but with the flames quickly engulfing their house, they knew they had to get out immediately.
I told her, let's go. And that's why my phone stayed in the house on the bed, and all my stuff. We couldn't get back in.
When fire crews arrived, there were heavy flames coming out of the front of the structure.
Canton Fire Chief Steve Henderson said 10 are now homeless, and 33-year-old Brian Shackelford Jr. died in the fire.
It's difficult on firefighters. The father of the individual, the firefighters knew him. He was a utility worker that we've ran into on scenes, and it's always tough to have fatality, but especially when it's somebody you know or someone's family.
But listen to this. 19 News checked Stark County records and found Shackelford Jr. was arrested for arson in June of 2024. According to a police report, he set a front porch on fire at a home on the same street as last night's fire. He was found guilty and sentenced to 18 months in jail. Investigators have not determined what started this fire, but they say they have a pretty good idea. And the fire chief says both of these homes are a complete and total loss. As for those 3 firefighters who were injured, we are told those were minor injuries and they are back on duty. In Canton, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
On behalf of Ms. Moore, she's had her indictment more than 24 hours, waives reading, interim plea of not guilty, requests that the recommended bond be accepted by the court.
As a former East Cleveland police officer, she posted a $5,000 bond this morning. Tasha Moore pleaded not guilty to 9 felony charges, all related to abusing her position of power as a police officer, including allegedly lying on a police report and hospital report. She has since resigned from the force. Nick Reiner pleaded not guilty in connection with the murders of his parents, acclaimed director Rob Reiner and wife Michelle. Gwen Baumgardner has details on this case, including where things stand on the possibility of the death penalty.
Nick Reiner appeared in brown prison garb behind a clear partition in a Los Angeles courtroom Monday, speaking only to answer a judge's question. Notably, Reiner was not wearing the suicide prevention smock he had on in December, days after his parents' bodies were discovered in the family's Los Angeles home. Hollywood director Rob Reiner and wife Michelle were found with multiple stab wounds.
We'd like to go forward with the arraignment at this time.
Public defender Kimberly Green entered a not guilty plea on behalf of her 32-year-old client, who who continues to be held without bail. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman says the case is on track.
We have provided the bulk of discovery to defense counsel, and we are now waiting for the coroner's report. When that is provided to the district attorney's office, it will in turn be provided to defense counsel.
Prosecutors have not yet decided if they'll seek the death penalty in this case.
And we have invited defense counsel to present to us, both in writing and orally in a meeting, any arguments that they would like to make in consideration for our going forward or not going forward with the death penalty.
Rob Reiner was a longtime opponent of capital punishment. His son Nick is due back in court on April 29th. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, that hearing could determine whether there is enough evidence to proceed to trial. Investigators have not publicly revealed a possible motive for the Reiners killings. President Trump is pushing ahead with new tariffs in the wake of the Supreme Court decision that wiped out many of the previously announced tariffs. And now trading partners around the world are trying to figure out how to respond. Natalie Brand has the latest developments from the White House.
President Trump on Monday doubled down on plans to use other avenues to pursue his tariff agenda and threatened any country that wants to, quote, play games with what he called a ridiculous Supreme Court decision will be met with a much higher tariff, adding buyer beware. Over the weekend, the president announced he would be raising global tariffs to 15% using Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. But those can only remain in effect for 150 days.
We don't have the same flexibility that IEEPA gave us.
U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer was pressed on Face the Nation what happens when that 150 days is up.
During that time, we're going to conduct investigations that can allow us to impose tariffs if it's justified by the investigation. So we expect to have continuity in the president's tariff program. We know that these laws work. They're tried and true.
But trading partners around the world are facing new uncertainty. European Union officials convened an emergency meeting amid the confusion. Monday, the European Union delayed a vote to ratify the trade agreement between the EU and US that was agreed upon last year in Scotland.
It's unclear if there will be additional measures or how the United States will really guarantee that the deal of Thornbury will be respected.
Ambassador Greer told CBS News he expects the previously negotiated deals to stand. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
President Trump also says he doesn't need congressional approval for the new 15% tariffs, saying that has already been approved in the past. When it comes to a quick caffeine fix, those ready-made coffee pods can do the trick. But the waste that's left behind is easy to toss and often difficult to recycle. So a woman in Australia found a way to give used pods a purpose. She's a former hairstylist, Lizzie Berkskoff. She saved 40,000 of them from a landfill by turning them into colorful earrings. She collected the pods from former clients, friends, and complete strangers on social media.
Quite often I do get stopped on the street and people will say, I like your earrings. And then when you turn them around and say they're made from coffee pods, you start this whole conversation.
So she hopes her recycling fashion concept will brew more talk about worldwide waste and the need for manufacturers to take responsibility.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast, certified most accurate since 2004.
Okay, there is the culprit, Lake Erie, open water. That provides the fuel for the lake effect snow that we have been seeing. And we're going to be seeing it die down overnight, along with the winds dying down as well. But another clipper arrives here on Tuesday night, and that'll bring a quick shot of more snow. Right now, temperatures low, mid, upper 20s. With wind chills in the single figures in a couple of spots. What is all the purple about? Those are the counties that are still under the winter weather advisory, from Ashtabula down to Summit and Medina County, all the way over to Erie and Huron counties. We have a winter weather advisory. It doesn't expire until 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. Temperatures sliding down to 17 by 5 in the morning, well below our average low of 25. Winds sustained right now. These are the sustained winds, not the wind gusts. 20-mile-an-hour wind at Canton, gusts up to 35. at Canton right now. They've started to die down in the west, and they'll continue to do that as we make our way through the course of the night. Tonight, there are those overnight lows. We're talking temperatures only in the teens. And again, the wind chills are going to be a problem. But we're also going to be looking at some rising temperatures at an unusual time. 6 o'clock, rush hour, a few flurries still flying, and temperatures that are still in the 20s across the region. We make our way to the morning hours, 7 o'clock in the morning. There's that 17. Could there be a leftover flurry? Yeah, could be. But temperatures will be cold and then rising through the course of the day. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty quiet stuff. We're talking 27. And then tomorrow night, we get the clipper. Comes through as temperatures rise. 32 degrees. It's a short-lived affair. Comes zipping on out of here. 7 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, we're in the mid-30s. Some leftover flurries there as well. And then into the afternoon, temperatures climbing to, yeah, that's a 40. A couple of degrees on either side of 40 on the high side. Don't get used to it because it's not going to last. Next 7 days, evening snow gives way to windy conditions on Wednesday. That clipper comes through Tuesday night. Thursday, more light snow, much milder Friday. So long February on Saturday with a high of 49 and a lot of sunshine, a few clouds. Clouds and sun and 29 on Sunday. And then, we start Monday with a 26. It'll be colder and it'll also bring more snow.
Now to your top 4 at 4. More than 41 million people are under blizzard warnings. An historic nor'easter is slamming the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. In New York City, a rare travel ban was put in effect, leaving some just getting around on skis. New York City hasn't seen a storm like this in a decade. Up to 2 feet of snow is expected in some areas. Add blinding wind on top of that, making for whiteout conditions. A deadly accident in Canton. Police say a man was hit while walking on 17th Street Southeast Sunday night. A witness says she was worried about the lack of sidewalks and speeding drivers in this area. Investigators have not announced any charges or the victim's name. Thousands of Americans in Mexico are being told to shelter in place. Violence erupted across Mexico. It came following the killing of the country's most wanted drug leader, known as El Mencho. It happened in a military operation Sunday. Airlines canceled flights out of the region. Officials say suspected members of organized crime groups unleashed a wave of violence after his death. Just months after getting out of prison, a local man is now accused of a double murder in West Virginia. Police say Cavante White shot and killed a city worker and a youth basketball coach. A third victim was also shot but will survive. Huntington investigators tracked White here and alerted U.S. Marshals. They tracked him down at a home on Grandview Avenue in Canton and took him into custody. We do have breaking news in the Stadium Showdown. A judge just dismissed the lawsuit filed by Dennis Kucinich. Judge Holly Gallagher said he does not have any legal grounds to file the suit on behalf of the taxpayers. Kucinich claimed the Browns were violating their current lease with the city by pursuing the Brook Park option. Now there's only the unclaimed funds lawsuit left for the Haslams to hurdle. Repeating our breaking news, Dennis Kucinich's lawsuit, hoping to block the Browns from moving to Brook Park, has been dismissed. This, of course, will be one of the topics of this week's Stadium Showdown. Every Friday night at 6:30, Jeff Slauson tracks the latest news on the Browns moving to Brook Park. You can watch it live or anytime on demand on the free 19 News Plus app. Breaking at this hour, the U.S. military carried out a strike on a boat accused of smuggling drugs in the Caribbean Sea. 3 men were killed. No U.S. military forces were harmed. Today's strike comes less than a week after 11 people accused of smuggling drugs were killed in Latin American waters. Part of the Trump administration's months-long campaign against alleged traffickers. Also breaking, U.S. forces are withdrawing from a key base in northeastern Syria. This appears to be part of a drawdown of U.S. forces in Syria. The main mission of the troops in Syria is to prevent a resurgence of the extremist group who lost control of the last territory it held in 2019. Sleeper cells have continued to stage periodic attacks in Syria, Iraq, and abroad. Well, this morning in Hinckley, the weather was so bad. Route 303 actually had to be shut down. Look at this. Several cars spun out into ditches. Some were stuck on the road. Others crashed. Thankfully, no serious injuries have been reported. The road was only shut down for about an hour before reopening. So it is a monster bomb cyclone that's battering the Northeast with widespread blizzard conditions, knocking out power, burying towns. Flight cancellations are mounting, as we've been reporting on, and travel bans are in place across the region as the storm moves north. New England is now facing the brunt of the winter blast. Michael Yoshida is in Boston with the latest.
Wild winter weather slamming the Northeast.
We're sort of a foot and a half under snow. It's a wicked nor'easter.
A massive bomb cyclone putting more than 40 million people under blizzard warnings and grinding travel to a halt.
We need residents to really stay home and heed that warning.
At least 7 states have received a foot of snow or more, and at least 4 states have been buried under at least 2 feet.
This is the worst storm in over a decade for us.
The heavy snow and hurricane-force wind gusts creating whiteout conditions, downing trees and power lines, leaving thousands in the dark.
We had about over 5,000 public workers, public utility workers across the state deployed. They're really getting people back up and online as quickly as possible.
New York receiving the most snow from a single storm in over 5 years.
Since last night, New York City has been in near blizzard conditions. Conditions have begun to moderate, but there is still more to come.
As the storm tracks north, blizzard conditions wreaking havoc on much of New England. In Boston, heavy, wet snow, wind gusts over 40 miles per hour, and a quarter-mile visibility making navigation treacherous.
Don't go out if you don't need to.
As some enjoy winter wonderland,
we look forward to it and the town just shuts down completely.
Others face a nightmare.
We're just in the airport. We don't know what we're going to do.
More than 10,000 flights have been canceled from Sunday to Tuesday, according to FlightAware, stranding travelers across the region. In Boston, I'm Michael Yoshida.
And we're going to be going deeper into the weather happening all over the states. You can watch tonight on First Alert Focus, Cleveland's only all-weather newscast. Tiffany Tucker and the 19 First Alert weather team are on weeknights at 7:30 on Cleveland's 43 and streaming on 19 News Plus. A 19 Crime Alert, police are looking for this man. So they say he stole a car from University Hospital Seidman Cancer Center. There was also a gun in the center console. The theft happened February 13th. Police said the victim had left her Honda Accord in the valet area on Euclid Avenue for just a couple of minutes. Now, besides the gun, there was also an Apple iPad in the car. So if you recognize this person, call police. Elyria police are looking for this man. This is 18-year-old Elliot Guzman. They say he and 3 others were arrested last week. They were trying to rob a home on Longfellow Avenue, according to police. He posted bond. He's on probation. On Saturday, police say they saw him carrying a gun. But when they tried to pull him over, he took off. Police think they found the gun he was carrying, but he remains at large. So if you see him, don't approach him. Call 911. A battle is brewing between a mayor and her fire department. Those firefighters just issuing a vote of no confidence. Dan DeRose is here to walk us through their complaints, Dan.
Yeah, this is in the village of Hiram. Very small community, only about 1,200 people, but something to take notice of when they go to social media and say they are putting out a vote of no confidence in their mayor. Said they've tried to meet with her a couple of times to no avail. They say they're being treated like second-class citizens. We'll get to that in a second. Here's their statement from the Hiram Firefighters Association. After careful discussion among our Hiram Firefighters Association members, we feel it is necessary to inform the public about ongoing concerns regarding our treatment by the village of Hiram, Mayor Ann Heyman. They talk about how there's some common areas at City Hall and the fire department that they're being told to clean up. That's not just them. There are some other issues that they talk about. We were characterized as presenting childish complaints and were told it was her way or the highway. This approach to leadership has left our members feeling unheard and undervalued. We have consistently been treated like second-class employees. It goes on to say our members have not received a wage increase in over 2 years. We have also experienced 2 separate payroll periods in which employees were not paid. They close out saying due to these ongoing concerns, the association is issuing a vote of no confidence in Mayor Heyman. I asked the Firefighters Association for an interview today. They said maybe later this week. I also reached out to the mayor to get her comment, an interview with her to find out what's going on there. Village only has about 1,200 people in it, known for the Hiram College that is also there. She did not get back to me in any way, shape, or form. Emailed her, called the office, and we got no response today. We'll keep an eye on this. The Firefighters Association did say their first priority is the safety of the community members and that they are committed to that. So we'll keep an eye on this situation.